Okay, I'm not sure how much more I'm going to get into different strum patterns, but I might start with some sort of technical things and then end with maybe a few more examples, specific examples. Okay, so I said one end of the spectrum before was eighth note downs being the foundation, the base. Like that's kind of like the minimum. You're almost always hitting the downs. Not always, but almost always. So that's just a good base. Okay, so one philosophy would be, what's the minimum, what's the base, what are we really doing, and what's our pulse? And then just kind of like, your upstrokes are just sort of, and your accents are all just kind of dancing around that. They're dancing with the foundation, adding color, adding flair, whatever. Another way to think about it would be, if you look at page 5B, it's all the strokes you could possibly hit, and that's be the 16ths. So if our beat is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, here's the downs, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So that's kind of the minimum. The maximum we could possibly do is all the upstrokes too. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's the most you can possibly do. So I'll say something about that, but pause here and I'll say, I think it is worthwhile to live on 5B, page 5B, on that top, which is just no accents, just a 16ths, right? And try to just set your metronome to something that you can do perfectly, feel comfortable with how you're holding your pick, fingers out, elbows not moving, it's mostly it's all wrist when you're practicing, where you're hitting all the strings, and you're just, whatever tempo you have to do to just live there and just really maximize your range of motion. Try to go as far both directions as you possibly can. You can do slower flicks, but full range of motion, or you can do fast flicks. It might be worthwhile to try both. I don't know. And then you can change your tempo, getting it faster and slower. Okay? So I would just totally live at that pattern and really just get that ingrained into your brain. And then try different accents with that. 15 through 20 on page 5B just have different accents for you to do. So let's see if I can get a decent tempo here. That might be a little fast to have you play along with. It's going to change. Oh, I hate it when it does that. Yeah, I can turn that up a little bit. Okay, so pattern 15 is just accenting the ones. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... It still feels a little fast for like a beginner, but whatever. That's 66. So 16 is I'm just going to go off the, oh, hello. I'm going to go off of the tempo for a second just to show the patterns. Back to down to 65. Okay, so 16 would be 1E and 2E and okay. Here's 16. 1E and 2E and 1E and 2E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 1E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and okay. Okay, and just try that. That misses the 2, but it hits the 4, so that pattern 16 might fit in your square category. Pattern 15 might fit in your circle category because it hits 2 and 4. So if we're doing like a pattern 22 again, by the way, oh, sorry, that was 21. Like I showed last time. Pattern 17. Yep. 18. And go. A lot of up. A little mix. Okay. Pattern 19 is this one's a great example of the square pattern, because you're missing 2. I'll count it. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. 1. Miss 2. There's the accent. Okay. 20. 2 ups in a row. That's fun. Oh, that one's fun. Wow, missed that. Okay, those are the different patterns there. You can try whatever you want. You can do all up accents. That's kind of hard. Okay, try whatever you want to try. You can try 2 in a rows. A little tough stuff, but you can make it your own. But I would put those in like the exercise category. That's very unrealistic for you to play that for a long while. And I'm gonna put kind of a break right there in this video. That's what just happened, was more like exercise type stuff. The rest I'm gonna talk about is in terms of patterns. So here's a little philosophy note. If we talk about the basic way, if this is as much as we could possibly play, especially when you're by yourself, but even with a band, if you're playing there and you are playing loudly there, that's all you have. You have no more room to go up. So if you're gonna try to like add energy and make the song go somewhere, you have to think about, okay, what's the most I could possibly play? And it's that. And loudly. So you have volume, you can take that volume down. But if you're starting the song and you're strumming every beat in the chorus and you have a bridge to go to that's bigger, you got nowhere to go, buddy. And you're just gonna sound boring because you're just doing the same thing. So you gotta think about, it needs to have some ebb and flow. So you can simplify things up. Think about it, it's pretty powerful if you go from, and then you get to a big chorus and you're like, that's a huge change, okay? But you've got room to go, right? So you just got to think about what's your biggest part. You know, you could strum every single 16th note, but you probably shouldn't do it for very long because it can't hang there. But that's a philosophy note. I'm gonna go back to some of these other patterns. The Bless the Lord, Oh My Soul, 10,000 Reasons. I don't have this song on here, but I won't even have a tempo on it. But it's kind of this weird pattern. Pattern 23 on page 5A. It's skipping, it's a down, skipping an up and a down, and hitting the up. Oops. Okay. But if you think about, I think it's in G, right? What would be? I'm sucking it. Be a little too simplified, but it kind of has that sort of waltzy style, waltzy type of feel, but that's something worth noting, I guess. That was a unique one. Great things. I don't even know if I'm going to show that. Pattern 25. That's just a kind of a matchy match of the lead line, but I'll leave that one alone. King of Kings, 26. This one actually you can use in some different places, but I would put it in the square category that we had last time because it misses the 2 and hits, it actually misses 4 also, but it misses the 2. But here's that pattern. 1 and 2 and ready, and here it is. 1 and a miss, 1 and a miss. Miss, miss, miss. Notice that even though I'm missing the down, I'm still moving motion because I have to have this down, down, down motion the whole time. But I'll show you how that kind of works. In the darkness, sweet were waiting without hope, without light. So that's one you could do. I want to spend a little moment on this pattern here of 24, Awake My Soul. So I would say that most of our songs, even a fast, energetic song, like King is in the Room, I mean, Open Up the Heavens is pretty energetic, and what was it? Its tempo is 100 beats per minute. There's a lot of them in there that are fast, have a nice, fun entry song, pump them up feel, and they're like 80, 85 to 110. I mean, there's a lot of good ones in that range. The faster ones would be like Praise the Lord, oh my soul. That one's at 126, okay? So that one's a pretty fast clip. I want to show you that real quick. Not to toot my horn or anything, but just to show you how this one in recent memory is probably one of the fastest songs I can remember strumming, and that's only 126. So if you strummed every upstroke too, that's pretty intense. I praise you. Still at pattern 21 though, really. Oh no, I'm not. I'm kind of a slightly different one that I should show. But that's another time. That's a pretty fast song. But coincidentally, so that's the fastest one I can remember in recent years, and that one's still, yeah, I like that one. But Awake My Soul is actually at the same tempo, and that tempo is a fun one because Awake My Soul has like a real nice downbeat, like a down eighth pulse. That's actually pattern 21. But this downs is great too. And that pattern for 24, Awake My Soul, is actually almost the same as number 4 on the page 5, but it's yeah, and that's almost a fun tempo because it's almost fast enough where you can substitute the downs and just go to half. Wake my soul and sing. I guess that's a different key for me, but sing His praise aloud. Sing His praise aloud. Anyway, but for me it'd be soul and sing His praise. Okay, So anyway, you can, if it gets to a certain point, you can half it, I guess. But I don't know if that was the best strumming breakdown, but there were some exercises in there, there's some philosophy in there. I don't know how much I can do with a bunch of different songs, being that it's on YouTube. But I would say take your pattern 21, 22 that I showed the other time, memorize those and get those into muscle memory. Really key in on your down eighth, and you really simplify things down when you're playing songs and try to just match accents with your eighths. And with that bass, just think about how to use upstrokes to kind of dance along with it. And then another thing to do would be, so you have your patterns 21 and 22 to memorize, and really that's kind of 90% of your ground probably, or it'll fit in most situations. One of those will. One would be just down eighths and just getting used to different accents there and maybe dancing around with some upstrokes on it. And the third thing to do would be to really exercise yourself on page 5B, doing all the upstrokes. And from there, you can accent different ones. And then you can also just start to strategically miss some. So like on, on that top line on page 5B, what happens if you just decide to miss the third one? Just start to miss some and try and see what that does. Any of that, and write it out if you have to, but like those are good exercises to do, and that can't do anything but just help you with your strum. Another thing you could do is just, once you have a pretty good handle on, you can hit any stroke that you want and make whatever rhythms you want, is just try to listen to different things and see if you can match the drums. Like here's Great Things. Love this one. This one's kind of challenging. It's a little faster. I'm matching the lead line now, lead line. Or you can match his strum too, but what are some other things? Here's a verse. Just matching the drums. Yeah. So just listen to different things and see if you can match the pulse, match the drums, and yeah, kind of go from there. And when you're in a band setting, just think about, if I do this more complicated, how does that affect the overall sound? Does it muddy the waters? Does it keep the vocals from being the prominent part? Does it make sense to, is everybody else complicated? Maybe I should be simple. Different things to consider. But strumming is, it is the way that you express rhythm on your instrument. So you got to master it. So that's my 2 cents on strum for right now.